Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to my second take for the night. Why is the Bills thing never showing on this? There we go. That's better. Earlier, when I talked about the Astros, I want to give a little update about that scandal. Carlos Beltran and the Mets did part ways afterwards. And then since then, what started out as some wild conspiracy theories have taken ground as now there's some information about possible wire wearing on the part of the Astros. Alright, but let's move on to the subject of this video, the Hall of Fame. Every year, the Halls of Fame, whether it be the NFL, Major League Baseball, NBA, NHL, induct players. And a lot of times they get it right, but there have been some notable snubs. Well, the NFL, with its 100th season over and the 100th anniversary of the actual meeting coming up, they wanted to try and correct some of that. So they announced that this year there would be a special Centennial class of 2020 of 15 players that would be inducted, or NFL officials, players, coaches, owners, whatever, that would be inducted as part of this group. And the announcements were made slowly over the weekend, starting with Bill Cowher and then Jimmy Johnson, and then moving on to yesterday, a full announcement of all 15 were made. And what these are guys who are in the seniors class, for the players anyway. They're in the senior section. There are 10 players, and their eligibility for is they're just they can get into senior members only, and only one senior gets in a year. So here's the list: Pittsburgh Steelers head coach Bill Cowher, Dallas Cowboy head coach Jimmy Johnson, NFL Films extraordinaire Steve Sable, the son of founder Ed Sable and one of the visionaries behind a whole lot of television time for the 80s and 90s where I grew up. Former NFL Commissioner Paul Tagliabue. New York Giants General Manager George Young that single-handedly helped turn around the Giants organization in the late 70s into the 80s that led to 2 Super Bowl championships. Now the players. Harold Carmichael of the Philadelphia Eagles. Jimbo Covert of the Chicago Bears. Who's that one? Bobby Dillon. I'm not sure what team he played for, but it's all black and white, no face mask. Cliff Harris, the Dallas Cowboys. Winston Hill of the New York Jets in the AFL. Alex Karras, Mongo, of the Detroit Lions. Donnie Shell of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Duke Slater from the Pioneer days. Max Speedy of the old Cleveland Browns in the 40s and 50s. And Ed Sprinkle of the New York Giants, late 40s and 50s. Or not New York Giants. I'm sorry, I apologize. Chicago Bears. That's a good list. But there were some snubs, as there always are. Tom Flores, who won 2 Super Bowls with the Raiders, not in. But one of the most unfortunate, I think, is Dallas Cowboy wide receiver Drew Pearson. Now, it's not often that you're going to see me stick up for and defend a Dallas Cowboy. And I wasn't really, until yesterday, aware of his Hall of Fame candidacy. I kind of thought he was in. It just seems like he should be, you know? I mean, made the Hail Mary catch in 75 against the Vikings. Nice Super Bowl, that touchdown that year. Just always clutch for Roger Staubach. I don't know why he's not in. He posted a video, though, in tears. Basically, first of all, saying that everybody that got in deserves it, and he's not trying to take anything away. But he really saying that the Hall of Fame class, the Hall of Fame selectors, broke his heart. And it really got to me. We get through arguments every year on, does this guy deserve to be in there? And I could go through, and as far as the top list, the top line, I'm not so sure that Bill Cowher and Jimmy Johnson deserve to be in this group. They should have been elected in the regular group. Same as Steve Sable and George Young. Why? I know they take up a space, but they're taking up space here. Okay, so if you're going to go with, why not 15 players and 5? But the one that really questions me is Paul Tagliabue. Now, I'm not taking anything away from what he did. He brought forth the expansion, going from 28 to 32 teams. Revenue sharing was the thing, but he increased the money, the salary cap. He went through without any player stoppages, which was unheard of, especially in that era. And he just continued to grow the league from what Pete Rozelle had started. But Pete Rozelle deserved to be in the Hall of Fame for what he did with the merger and the Super Bowl and all this and collective bargaining and going through the 2 strikes. Paul Tagliabue, I'm not quite sure he belongs. But I will say this, if Roger Goodell gets in, then the Hall of Fame is a joke. because all he's done is just line pockets and greed. Okay, so moving back on to the whole process, the whole idea of the Hall of Fame to me just is baffling that it is left up to voters to decide. They're comparing Drew Pearson to today's receivers, and you can't do that because, guys, you're coming off seeing Michael Thomas set an all-time record for catches, and then you're going to debate receivers, and you're going to talk about whether Drew Pearson lived up to being a Hall of Famer. But you can't look through history through the perspective of today. Just like you can't judge a movie, Gone with the Wind, based on today's feelings. You can't judge Drew Pearson based on then. So I think there needs to be something else. I think, first of all, the WWE, now I know they're Hall of Fame. I know the WWE Hall of Fame is a lot different because it's all selected by Vince McMahon and whoever agrees to come in. But they have what's called a Pioneers induction, where during the ceremony they show these group of the wrestlers, and most of them, all except I think one so far, have passed on. That might be something that the NFL might think of, and might, because guys like Alex Karras and Bobby Dillon, Ed Sprinkle, and Winston Hill, and who else is over there? Steve Sable. These guys deserve to be in, and year after year, guys like that should get in, but they're not, because only one member of the seniors gets in. And I don't know exactly what the eligibility is for the Hall of Fame, but I did hear them say that Steve Tasker finished up his eligibility. And that, to me, that is a crying shame that the guy that defined what special teams expertise is not going to make the Hall of Fame. Going to have to wait and get in as a seniors. And there's only one per year that get in, so who knows if it'll ever happen for a special teamer. So that's why I think a Pioneers division like the Centennial class, where you take and posthumously induct guys that got overlooked, that deserve to be in, maybe 5 to 10 a year, guys like Albert DeBenion from the Buffalo Bills, or kickers and punters that are never going to be looked at otherwise once they pass on. Maybe, I don't know, you take a look at these guys and say, do they deserve it? Should they be in this class? And maybe the fans vote on that one. Because the writers obviously get criticized year after year after year for missing this guy or missing that guy. Or how long did it take Lynn Swann to get in the Hall of Fame? Or why was this guy a first ballot but not this guy? Andre Reed, it took him a long time. Wide receivers classically struggle to get in. They do. I don't know what it is, but Harold Carmichael's getting in this time. Why didn't Drew Pearson? Why is Tom Flores not in, winning 2 Super Bowls as a coach of the Raiders? Why is why is Paul Tagliabue getting in, but not I don't know, Virginia McCaskey for the Bears? That would be great. Induct a female executive, especially in her 90s, to still be with us. That would be great. The daughter of George Halas, in case you don't know. So, just to me, the whole idea of the Hall of Fame is fantastic. It's a great day to celebrate. Kick off with a game that means absolutely nothing, but just celebrate the past. So let's include more. Celebrating the past should be more of a thing. Now, on a personal note, I think the way they announced Bill Cowher and Jimmy Johnson was fantastic. Being able to see that raw emotion of the guys finding out that they were making the Hall of Fame, god damn, that was great. The NFL and Mr. Baker really stepped up with that, and that was fantastic. For somebody like me who was a high school athlete and will never make any Hall of Fame ever, you live vicariously through your favorite players. Now, whether or not you like Jimmy Johnson or Bill Cowher, it was still great to see them get that moment. So anyway, that's my take. We get ready for Conference Championship Weekend. I'm going to come at you with a video tomorrow talking about breaking down my thoughts and a few historical facts about the Titans versus Chiefs and Packers versus 49ers. So until then, I'm Vinny Vincent. God bless America.